2012 it will be open. Now where they're going to do the Olympics is in Stratford, in East London, which is behind the boat on the right, about 6 miles away. Although some of the Olympics will take place at Greenwich, in the park. They're going to do the show jumping down at Greenwich. So East London is behind us, and on the right in front of us is the East End. Two different areas. You've got East London and the East End. The Isle of Dogs on the right is a horseshoe shape. You see it bends behind us and ahead of us. So this is the Isle of Dogs. This is where Henry VIII used to keep all of the hunting dogs years ago. He lived in Greenwich, and so this was all fields at one time. It's where he kept all of the dogs. And what turned it into an island is where Canary Wharf is. You see, where that tower block is where they built a canal for the sailing ships. Instead of sailing all the way around, on a high water, they could have cut across through the canal, and it turned the area into an island. But at the moment it's low water, the tide is dropping. We're actually going against the tide. The North Sea is behind us, about 20 miles away. The tide, it goes out for 7 hours, comes back in for 5, and there's a rise and a fall of about 25 feet, nearly 7 metres. If you look on the river wall to your left, you'll see a green moss line, and that is the high water mark. So it's dropping, and it will still drop about another 8 feet. And you'll see more of the City of London there to the right. You've got the rocket-shaped building, and that's just by Tower Pier. It's called the Gherkin. Well, that's the nickname, because when it was opened about 6 years ago, it was all lit up a luminous green, and it looked like a big pickle. So Wally, the media, they called it the Gherkin. The East End of London, say to the right, you've got the Isle of Dogs, and in front of us you've got Limehouse, Wapping, Whitechapel, where the Jack the Ripper murders took place. That was in 1888. Well, about a 15-minute walk from here, Whitechapel. You've got Bethnal Green, where the gangsters came from, the Cray twins, Ronnie and Reggie. They controlled all of the East End of London. So years ago, London, it was all controlled by gangsters. South London, you had the Richardsons, the Cray twins on the right. Stepney, so the East End, it's in the East End, where all the Cockneys, they all lived there once upon a time. You see, if you're from south of the river, like myself, the first pirates to be executed at Wapping was in 1701 from Scotland, Captain William King. Although he wasn't found guilty for piracy on this river, he was actually sent out to South America to combat piracy. And he became a pirate himself. He didn't want to come back to England. And he had also killed one of his crew members on a ship. So he went missing, he was found, and he was brought back to London and executed on the foreshore. Now this is Wapping on the right, this is the East End. And they reckon the name Wapping came from the pirates. Because as that tide would have gone over their head, their bodies would have filled up with water and they would have floated. And people called them Whoppers. It's all called Whoppers, you see. And that is when the area got the name Wapping. All of those pirates, all executed on the foreshore. Now what they used to do with those bodies, they would have put them up in steel boxes, and they was put on different parts of the river as a warning to any would-be pirates. So anyone coming up the river, they'd have seen these steel cages with all the dead pirates in, and it was used as a deterrent. Another story similar to that is London Bridge. So any people, not that's Tower Bridge, that one, but London Bridge, that's the one further up. And if you was ever found guilty of treason, you was beheaded. And they used to take your head to the old London Bridge, and they displayed it on a wooden stick on the south side of London as a warning to any would-be traitor. So some very gruesome stories out here of years ago. That's Butler's Walk on the left, all these buildings here. These were the tea warehouses. This is where they stored London's tea. You had tea cookers coming in from India, China and Japan, delivering tea. And along the ground floor, you've got loads of bars and restaurants. And that's a lovely boat on the left. Now look at that boat, the Elizabethan, a stern wheel paddle steamer. And that was originally owned by Sir Richard Branson, who owns Virgin Atlantics. Before he went into aeroplanes, he used to own that boat on this river. That's where he started. He then went on to aeroplanes, but he used to own that boat there, the Elizabethan. Well, Tower Bridge, then we've got Tower Pier on the right. And if you're looking for somewhere to go, for a little walk, maybe a bit of dinner, a couple of drinks, just over to the right is St Catherine's Dock. And it's a luxury marina today. We've got loads of boats over there. And it's all surrounded by little bars and restaurants. And it's not too expensive. Very nice over there. It's only a little walk down the river. Just from Tower Pier. It only takes a few minutes to walk into the dock.
Tower Bridge.
And at the moment they're repainting Tower Bridge. If you look at the road level, this centre part is a lighter colour to the outer sides. Also look beneath it, look at the lovely white on the right. You'll now see the rusty bit we're going to go beneath. They're repainting the whole bridge for the London Olympics 2012. They've painted the underside at the top, look, you see that white at the top? Those top parts were open to the public years ago. As the ships used to come through the bridge, you could have walked up one tower and crossed over the top. But they've now turned the top part into a museum, and it's about £6 to go up to the top. You see, years ago we only had London Bridge and bridges further up the river, and they needed to build a bridge here because of traffic on the old London Bridge. But due to the shipping in this part of the river, they had to have a bridge that could open. Now there was a competition at the time. People used to send in their designs, and there was many designs of that bridge. One of them was one that would just open, just pull apart. But the problem with that, no one could obviously cross the bridge as the ships came through. And that was the winning design. It was built a certain height so that tall ships could still come through and that people could still walk over the bridge. And so it was opened in 1894. And do you know the original colour of that bridge was brown? It was a chocolate brown. I don't know if you've ever seen it brown. They only ever painted it red, white and blue in 1977 for the Queen's Silver Jubilee. Red, white and blue. Now it wasn't always that colour. It used to be a chocolate brown. All of the stone on the bridge, it's only there for decoration. You could take all the brickwork down and it would still operate as a working bridge. They only put the stone on it to blend it in with the castle on the right, the famous tower. And if you've got your camera, look, there's the Traitors' Gate on the river wall. Yeah, it's through the archway where traitors were taken years ago to be executed, beheaded. Yeah, and all those heads, as I said, all of the heads of the traitors were taken up to the bridge ahead of us, London Bridge, and it was all displayed as a warning to any traitor. Well, we're going to go into the pier now, ladies and gentlemen. Tower Pier. We'll be here for a few minutes. We're not here for long. When we leave this pier, we're going to go further up. We're going to go to Westminster and Waterloo. And we'll be up to Westminster in about 40 minutes. Half an hour, 40 minutes. We've got a few people joining us, and if you are leaving us here, you'll be leaving us just here at the front. The last boat to Westminster is at 6:30, so you could get off if you like. There's a boat every 20 minutes until 6:30. Now I know a lot of you came down early with us. My colleague pointed out a few candles started the fire
London Bridge.
in a bakery, Pudding Lane, the Great Fire. Now this bridge here, there's no mistaking it. Look left and right of the boat, London Bridge. This is the 5th London Bridge, and it was opened 1973. The first ever London Bridge was built by the Romans 2,000 years ago. Do we have anyone from America? Yes. Well, do you know the bridge before this one is in America? Yes, the Arizona desert. That's correct. Lake Havasu. We actually sold it to the Americans for $2 million. That bridge has stood in London for over 100 years. In the early 70s, it was sinking into the mud. It was all taken down, shipped over to California, and driven to the Arizona desert. It now spans the lower Colorado River, Lake Havasu. And to your left in a dock, a pirate ship, the working replica of the Golden Hind. The captain, Sir Francis Drake, the first Englishman to sail a ship around the world in 1577. Open to the public. It's a real ship. It's been around the world twice, tracing the same voyage. Here we've got a railway bridge, this one, Cannon Street. The station on the right, Cannon Street Railway Bridge. And if you look at the columns of the bridge, you'll see the tide. Very powerful. The river, it gets very narrow here, a lot wider ahead, and it really rushes through this part of the Thames. You will not swim over the tide. An Olympic swimmer can only swim at 3 knots. This tide runs at 6 knots. So you will not swim over the tide in London. It goes out very quickly. And if you look on the right, you'll see barges on the foreshore, grounded. At high water, they're towed away. We've got quite a few of these depots on the river. And this is how we get rid of rubbish, black bags, household rubbish. It's all taken to the depots. The rubbish goes in the boxes, and at high water, those barges are towed down the Thames to a place called Essex, where they spread the rubbish on the marshy lands at Raynham and Mucking. They actually use it for land reclamation. They spread it on the marshy fields. It's all covered in topsoil. And it does solve 2 of London's biggest problems. What to do with London's rubbish and what to do with Essex. Oh, you're not from Essex, yeah? No, good. It's a lovely place. Now look over there to your left. You'll see a timber framed building. It's white, that white building. That is the replica of William Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. It was opened by Her Majesty the Queen about 12 years ago. And if you look at the roof of the building, it's thatch. The only thatched roof allowed in London since the Great Fire in 1666. They reenact all of those famous plays. There's guided tours as well, and it's an open roof. So if you are watching a play and it starts to rain, you're going to get wet. Would you believe the capacity of that building? 3,000 people. To the coast of France.